Hashem Svasai Tiftach Ufia Gitalasacha. We're now in the 7th parak of Ezra. This parak we are finally introduced to, guess what? Ezra. Now, it's very interesting because there's a machlokas as to when this story actually is taking place. This parak, is it in the next year? So it is still within the ruling and the leadership of Daryavesh, and Daryavesh is going to be he'll have another name called Artashasta, or is Artashasta a king 50 years after the building of the Beis HaMikdash, and now we're entering into about 458 BCE. Now, it's significant that what's happening is Ezra, who is still, remember, he's still in Galus, and he's there because his kingpin and the source of his Mesorah, his Rebbe, is Baruch ben Neriah, and Baruch is, of course, the greatest Talmud of Yirmiyahu, and so we have a direct connection to the Mesorah, and so he, with all respect to Eretz Yisrael, he is holding on, and he is the epitome of what it means to be a Torah. He is the embodiment of Torah and Torah in Galus, our ideals of Torah. And remember, the Gemara we mentioned in the introduction, the Gemara talks about that had Moshe Rabbeinu not been around, who would have been the leader? Or had Moshe Rabbeinu come after Ezra, then they were on par with one another, and Ezra could have been Moshe Rabbeinu's position and given us the first Torah. But Ezra is going to be coming to on the scene, and let's just say, according to most Mefarshim, it's 58 years from the time that the Jews were able to be rebuilding the Beis HaMikdash, and it is in that time that we're going to be introduced in a very interesting way to Ezra. Now, Ezra, in Pasuk Aleph, we're still in Hebrew, he has generations, Saria, Azariah, Hilkiah, all the way to Aaron HaKohen HaRosh. And I think there's about 8 generations the Gemara talks about. There are about 8 generations that are not mentioned, but we basically are able to trace his lineage. He traces his lineage to Aaron. Now, that is significant on many levels. Number one, it is significant because he will not leave Galus until such time as he has all his documentation. He is very makbid on his yichus. Why? Because he knows that he is the embodiment of Moshe Rabbeinu, of the giving of the Torah in Galus. And the Jews whose Galus mentality, we're living in a time where there's the rebuilding. Everything has to be perfection. And we have to have our yichus in order. It has to be that we are reenacting, so to speak, what we were given to before. We had the Aaron HaKohen before, when the Bnei Israel left Mitzrayim, and they were headed from Galus into Geula, and they got Eretz Yisrael, and all of that was like phase 1. And he knows that he is the phase 2. Hu Ezra Alami Badal, but who Sofer Mahir B'Toras Moshe. He is a Sofer. He is the only one considered a Sofer. What's a Sofer? Sofer is a guy who writes the Torah. But no, it's deeper than that. He is not only the writer, but he is going to be the orator, the teacher, the embodiment of a Sefer Torah. Asher Nasan Hashem Elokei Yisrael V'yitin Lo HaMelech Ki Yad Hashem Elokav Alav Kol Vakashoso. And so what happens? He is granted everything. V'yitin lo hamelech. It doesn't say which melech. It says a king gives him everything that he could possibly have asked for in kindness. And so you could say that yes, it is the melech atar shasta, or you could say that it is HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and that is the Musar in Galus, in the times where the rebuilding of the Beis HaMikdash. And there are still Jews in Galus, and it hasn't been the complete redemption of Mashiach. We have to look and we have to see that everything that happens, the political moves, all what seems to be just very smart people, manipulating situations, getting the king or the president or the prime minister to do X, Y, and Z, having a great army, the army being successful. No. V'yitin lo hamelech. It's all coming from Hashem. And we can't be so concrete in our thinking. We have to go deeper. Now, what happens? So he's given permission, v'ya'alu mibnei Yisrael, and so he goes, and who goes with him? The Kohanim, the Leviim, all these people, Hanatinim, Al Yerushalayim, B'shnas Sheva la'arshasa hamelach, and some of Yisrael, the priests, the Kohanim, the singers, the gatekeepers, everyone is going up in the 7th year of King Artaxerxes, and they get to Yerushalayim. Now, it's very significant. What month do they leave in? They live in Nisan. Again, we're having redemption number 2. Just like the first redemption, we were redeemed from Mitzrayim. So to here, we're redeemed from Mitzrayim. We're redeemed from Galus. We're going up from Galus. Unfortunately, it's not all the Jews, but it is many of the Jews. And when do they arrive? They arrive, so they leave in Nisan, and they arrive in Av. It's definitely a couple of months in. It is not an easy trip. We should never ever take for granted the fact that anyone who goes up Alil Regel, it is a hard trip. It's not an easy thing. Doesn't matter if you're going on a plane, on a train, on a boat, or by foot. But he goes up and he enters into Eretz Yisrael in the month of Av. Why is that significant? Because again, we're redoing in the month of Av. HaKadosh Baruch Hu took the Gullus and entered. It's not a Mazel Tov month, but now he's saying, no, it's Mazel. There's going to be good stuff here. And he gets into Eretz Yisrael, and he is there. And that is thanks to, again, Kiyad Elokav Hatova Alav. What do you always have to do? What does a Jew in Gullus have to think? What do we have to be thinking about? It's Yad Hashem. We might not see the Yad Hashem the same way, because remember, there's Hester Panim, because it's not so clear. But you have to know that there's always Yad Hashem. Everything that you have is L'Tova, and it's all from Yad Hashem. And Ki Ezra Hachin Livo, he dedicated himself. Now, how does he do it? How does one truly become your best self? Here is exactly what you have to do. Hechin Livavo, you prepare your heart. L'droshes Toras Hashem, to learn Toras Hashem. You really have the kavanah. You think about it. You make a conscious decision to be a better person. And then, la'asos, then you do. You make an effort. It's not just in my mind, but it's also my actions, and then ululamed b'Yisrael, and then you can give it over to other people. And when you're able to give it over in your homes, then it's forever, lanetzach. And what does he do? So that's exactly what he does. He prepares himself. Then he studies the Torah, and then he really does everything. He is the walking embodiment of what it means to be a Torah, because he's keeping everything, and then he can give it over. And he's giving it over. And who's he giving it over to? He's giving it over to the people who are really faltering. They got the Beis HaMikdash. They did all the beautiful things on the outside, but their insides are not complete. He sees it. He knows it. We're not getting to a time where people are growing, but they're actually the opposite. It's not penetrating in. And when it doesn't penetrate in, you have a problem. And that's really an issue. And so now he knows that he's going to dedicate himself to trying to get people back. And that's really his job. His job is going to be to connect. Remember, he creates the Anshe Knesset Hagdolah. What is he trying to do by creating the Anshe Knesset Hagdolah? So we had Nevuah. And for a long time, the people just did. They gave korbanos. That was their main, that's what they did. They have the Beis HaMikdash. That's what you do. But then, what he's realizing is that we're not at the level where the korbanos are doing anything, or they're not doing enough. And he sees and he understands we need to go deeper. And when the Kalim are good, but it's the most important is not paying lip service. It's going to be that the truth is going to be through the Torah. And now we're switching back, because that's just what happens in Gullus. In Gullus, when we least expect it, we switch back, and we're going to go back to Aramaic, because we're going to be reading the letter in this miraculous, holy turn of events that King Artaxerxes gives Ezra as the law that is now going to be the law in Israel. And he says that Ezra, Kahana, Safar, he's a scholar, he's a priest, and now I hereby issue that anyone in my kingdom who is of the people of Israel And he knows because he must have heard from Ezra and also the Kohanim and the Leviim. So if you're Israeli, a Kohen, or a Levi, and you want to go, you're allowed to go. Please go up to Yerushalayim. Go back home. You're commissioned by the king to, and here's what you're going to get. I'm going to give you silver and gold, and you can take as much of your own silver and gold to go into Yerushalayim. And all of those things that belong in the house of Hashem, you can take them with you. You can take money, and I will give you more money, and bulls and rams and lambs for your karbanos. And you can offer them in your house of Hashem in Yerushalayim. And whatever you wish to do with the leftover silver and gold, you should do it, whatever you want, in order to keep it functioning and keep the maintenance. And all of the kelim, the vessels of the Beis Hamikdash, are given to you. All of what's left over from here in my domain, it's going to go back to you in your domain. And any of your needs and anything that you need, you can take from the royal treasury. And he basically gave all of a third of the taxes of his kingdom with Ezra to Yerushalayim. And this is what's going to be, that I, Atar Shachsa, for my part, I'm going to make sure that Ezra, the scholar of the land, everything that he says, he's going to fulfill. He's going to set the land. He's going to set the law of the land. The law of the land is going to be the law of the Torah. And there's not going to be a separation of church and state. There's just church. It's just going to be that religion is going to reign supreme in Eretz Yisrael. And he gives this crazy amounts of extra money, 100 talents of silver, 100 kor of wheat, and wine, and oil, and salt without limit. And everything should be carried out exactly. And anyone who doesn't do that, wrath is going to come upon them. And it's going to come from Hashem. Look at what this king look what he's saying. He's saying exactly what what Yitzchak Avinu told Yaakov. He's basically giving him over all of the oil and all the good and everything that could possibly happen. But it's v'yitin l'cha, like we mentioned. It's only if you do, and if you don't, wrath comes upon you. You and anyone who doesn't listen to Hashem. And you're not allowed to impose, he tells his people, any tax or land tax on any Kohen or Levi or anyone who's working in the service of Hashem. And Ezra, you are going to be able to create judges and a judgment, something that and all your laws, and that's what you follow. And don't let anyone not obey those laws, because they will be punished by death by the king. And perhaps you and I both know that it's not the king with a lowercase k. But he promises you can give them death by corporal punishment, you can confiscate their possessions, you can imprison them. It's all up to you. And that's just what it is. And he blesses Hashem. And we say, Baruch Hashem Elokei Avoseinu Asher Natan Kazos B'Leiv HaMelech. And at the end, Ezra blesses HaKadosh Baruch Hu. He says, oh my goodness, like this can only come from you, Hashem. Something that we all always have to think. It's not from anything but HaKadosh Baruch Hu. L'fa'eres Beis Hashem Asher B'Yerushalayim. Look what we just got. Like, this is crazy. And so, once again, we have this idea that Ezra, he understands that everything, Ki Yad Hashem Elokai Elai, it's all from Hashem. Te'kabtzam Yisrael Rashim Alos Imi. And so I'm going to summon up people that are going to be able to go with me. He is creating, he's creating a network of people, and he is trying his best to understand that we've got to go deeper. That it's inside of our heart that we have to have the Beis Hamikdash, and that b'shachanti b'socham, I'll be inside of them, but not just inside of them in a house. But Hashem says, I want to be inside of you individually in your heart. And he sees that we're not moving in the right direction, Ezra. And so he says, you know what? It's my time. My Rebbe is gone, and I have a Masorah inside of me that has to be passed down. I have an understanding that just because we're in Israel doesn't mean that we're acting like there's a Beis Hamikdash. Just because we have a Yerushalayim, and we can daven, and we can be free, religiously free, and we even have a Jewish state that goes mostly by we have a rabbinate, and we have so much that is dictated by Torah. It's not enough. We have to have it all dictated by Torah. We live in a world where there's so many opportunities to be very good Jews. But has it really permeated into our existence that we're truly, truly feeling the Yad of Hashem? Are we doing our best, or do we need to go further? And what Ezra says is that we have to go further. In order to sustain the Jewish people, we really need to go further. I have to gather everybody in. I have to create that Torah becomes the kingpin. And when Torah truly is the kingpin, then we have the ultimate geula. Otherwise, like everything else, if it doesn't go up, it goes down.